Man, I'm just happy I have the opportunity to get out and fish and do what I enjoy. Man, look how awesome that is. Welcome back, fishing friends, to another adventure. Look at all the shad pods all out there. So the weather is much cooler today. Nice breeze from the north. Man, it's gonna be a interesting day of fishing. So thank you for inviting me into your home, your vehicle, wherever you are that you're watching this. If you're new to the channel, my name's Alan, and I like making fishing videos, outdoor videos, and sometimes I'll do points of interest videos. But anyway, all right. Those shad sure are flickering around, huh? I'm gonna start off, I'm gonna throw this little Berkley slobber knocker, and then I'm gonna switch to some top water, but I just want to get this thing rolling. And I love the color on this. And I'm thinking, since it's not full light, the noise that this thing's gonna put off may entice a bite. I've got this on a 6/8 Falcon. This is the Draken 1 Svevlo. And I've got this on 8-pound Cortland braid and an 8-pound fluoro leader. Can you guys hear that? Coyotes in the distance. Take a look at that, guys. I got a Berkley power stinger on the back of that. I prefer throwing the jackhammers, but these slobber knockers aren't too bad. I had a chance to hang out and go visit the outlet store for Pure Fishing, and they had a bunch of these for like $5, I think. And I was like, man, I gotta get them. And they also had some cool jigs. But these power stingers make excellent trailers if you had never used one before. And they have that, they'll leave a scent trail. Look at that Draken 1. Boy, the coyotes sure are active over there. So we did have a slight temperature change with a little cool front, some rain, but I don't think it's gonna bother the fish. Usually when we've had a cool front, I've had some good days fishing. Now you hear a bunch of cattle going bananas over there. Yeah, this got good action on there. Man, I searched and searched and searched for a good trailer. I was using all kinds of different stuff to have kind of like that bait fish tail. And then I found these power stingers. And I got a bunch of power stingers when I was at that outlet store. They were pretty cheap too. So now I'm all stocked up on them. And boy, they have that scent. That power bait scent. Look at that. Man, that looks good in the water. Alright guys, check that out. It's that Booyah Boss Pop. So we're going to start off with this guy. Run my seams. I love throwing poppers. As you guys already know that I'm always tinkering and testing. He looks like a little flickering shad. Yeah, it looks good in the water. Yep. So I'm going to pitch it over there where the little shad pockets are, and hopefully we'll get one to think that this is like a little wounded dude. Got this on the black bass rod. I've got like a mono leader, I think it's 12, and then 12-pound sunline braid. See how the shad flicker like that on the surface? All right, so we'll see how this turns out. I don't have much of my flat anymore. This used to be all underwater, and it was just perfect for top water. Right where I'm standing is where I whacked a couple of fish on the shallow way. Man, it was just perfect through here. Ooh. I screwed that cast up, guys. I had to save it because the wind was going to get me snagged right on that branch. But I did spook a fish. There we go. There we go. There we go. Oh, he came off. There we go. There we go. Oh, he came off. Dang it. Follow it. Follow it. This will have to add to the fails of 2026. Oh, man. Rats. He just missed it. Wasn't anything I did wrong. That was fun. It wasn't a catch, but man, look at this mud I'm having to slug through. That was fun. Man, he just smoked it, but there's nothing there. The thing with that is, guys, I'm pretty sure it was a gar. Gar have a heck of a time getting hooked. And they love hanging around the surface. So that's what I'm thinking what it was, because if you get a blow up like that, normally a bass, it's a done deal, especially with 2 trebles and as small as this is. Man, I hadn't thrown one of these in a long time. Check that out. Pretty cool. I've been throwing like the Ricos, the Yellow Magic, the Bill Lewis Spitfire. See how shallow it gets right here? And then it just starts to slope down. Those coyotes are just howling over there. Alright guys, check this out. It's a little boyo right here. I don't throw them too much, but they're subtle enough. They can really entice some bites. Casts like a bullet and it walks so easy. It's a really cool bait. It's really subtle. There's that log. It's like a lay down right there. Man. That's where I had that blow up, so I switched to this to see if I could get him to try something else, but he won't do it. Man, doesn't that look awesome out there with the sun? Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was a gar that smoked it. See, it's shallow here, and then look at that, it dips down again. You can see all the little lines down there where creatures have been crawling around. All kinds of freshwater shells. Such a cool spot. Come on, now we need a nice blow up, another one. Well, the coyotes are done with their howling. So I use the Omnia app to kind of track what the depths are here and there. See here, then it just drops right in there. Still got shad popping out there. All right, guys. Pardon the breeze there. All right, guys, take a look at this. This is a Bomber Speed Shad. I can't even tell you the last time I threw one of these. It's been years. But it's almost like its own little, look how thin that is. And with that bill, it's almost like it's a little flat-sided square bill in its own right. But I love this color. Check out the hooks. Those are the stock hooks. So normally what I do is, and I got friends and people think I'm crazy, I run it as it came for a while, and then eventually, that way I can kind of see how the lure was intentionally rigged up there. And then what I'll do is I'll swap them out, swap the hooks out. But I usually try to keep it as original as possible. And then people are like, man, those hooks are terrible, you gotta, yeah, I realize that, but it's just, I don't know, for me I don't want to call it nostalgia, but a respect thing. All right, so we're gonna pitch this guy around, and hopefully we'll get some bites. I love this color. So it's like a little four-wheel drive bait. Really any kind of contrast, chartreuse. I think this is called a root beer color, but I haven't thrown this thing in a long time. I'm surprised I hadn't changed the hooks on it. Usually I do after I fish it the first couple times. And this thing's got kind of like a unique hunting action, especially when it hits off of stuff. Man, that's good. So we're gonna work down this way first, and then we'll work our way back. Did you see that? The wind caught it. Some people say it's like throwing a potato chip. No, it's got decent weight to it. You can get it out there. Man, check that out. All right, so we're gonna run this along the shoreline. Felt a thump. So I threw the top water all over the place. I know it was a gar that whacked that, took a shot at that. They're around. I see them from time to time. They love to kind of come up and into shallow water, and they'll just sit there. Man, this thing is cool. Yeah, the water is definitely receding, although we did have some rain last night. It'll start coming up, but there's back in early September, end of August, the water was like all the way up into here, into the grass, and it's been receding quite a bit. But we had some decent rain, so it's not going to come up too much, but it'll come up a little bit. All right, we're gonna move up a little bit and then keep pitching this around. Man, this is just a cool bait. All right, guys, throwing the Bomber Speed Shad, and I got whacked. I love this color, man. He just smoked it. I'm standing in heavy mud here, so I'm gonna have to kind of be careful with my footing. I don't have any footing really to speak of, and I'm gonna fall. There we go. Up, up, up. My poor footing. All right, guys, there we go. On the Bomber Speed Shad. Right there. Gorgeous fish. There you go. Man, that was a lot of fun right there. It was just almost instant. Bang! And I've been throwing the Arky ghost crawl through there. Nothing. But this little Speed Shad, bam! Another look at it. Right there. Look at that. Stock hooks. People are gonna think I'm crazy, but you know what? There's a method to my madness. I can't really, you just had to have seen it and been in there. I was down to like sunk 4 inches into the mud down there, and I was having a heck of a time. I had sketchy footing to try to get that fish in. I was like, man, this isn't gonna work, but it worked out really well. Man, this little Speed Shad this thing's pretty cool. You can tell we're into the cold season now. The little pods of shad, the little bait balls aren't swirling around like they usually are. They must have gone deep. There's a couple of them flickering around. That's why I like throwing this. He's kind of like a little four-wheel drive. He's got that interesting bill that Bomber uses. And he's real thin. It's got a real tight, compact action. Looks good. All right, we're gonna work our seam and go all the way around there. Ooh, that north wind's got a bite to it. Take a look, guys. We're so far down here that the trees are just now starting to turn. I did catch something interesting and forgot to turn the camera on. I caught a whole wad of fishing line. I mean, this is like some 50-pound braid that was all knotted up from who knows how many years ago. I gotta throw it back on the bank. I gotta remember where it is so I can get it out of here, because that could really cause problems for birds. And if I snagged on it out here where I left it, that gets underwater. That's somebody's gonna snag on it back there. God, this thing just flickers around down there. Such a cool lure. All right, I'm gonna shut this off so you're not eating the wind. All right, guys, on the Speed Shad, right along that seam. Boy, he's fighting good too. Just gotta let him calm down. I got good footing here. There he is. Bank flip. And that's a nice bass right there. Ooh, it's a short fatty. A little short fat dude. Ooh. Little meatball. All right, guys, there we go. Check out that guy on the Bomber Speed Shad. That's number 2. There you go. Whew. Man, that was a good fish right there. All right. So that little lure is getting the job done today. All right, guys, here's my little seam that I'm always running for top water. Just runs right through there. And man, he just crushed it. There was a gar that jumped out there. At first I thought it was a gar that hit. But then he stayed down. He was super heavy. Yep, pretty cool little lure right there, and root beer. I threw it right over there where that that gar was. Uh-oh. I felt a thump, guys. Dang it. I think it was a white bass. I felt a thunk. I'll take a white bass too. They hadn't been active today because the little pods of shad aren't, all the little boils aren't up today. Alright guys, I've only thrown something from Salmo one other time, and it was a little crankbait, but check this out. This is a Rattling Sting 9. Don't even know what it looks like in the water. My first time hooking it up. Let's check it out and see. Oh, it looks pretty cool. It's a slow sink. Check that out. Ooh-wee. All right. Casts like a bullet in this crazy wind. So I'm gonna let that sucker sink. Just a bit, then we'll crank her down to depth. Twitch, twitch, kill it. Twitch, twitch, kill it. Twitch, twitch, twitch. And crank the rest of the way. Ah, it's a pretty cool little lure right here. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Pretty cool. Rattling Sting number 9. And Salmo, I think, if I'm not mistaken, is out of Poland. So I got this because I'm thinking about like pike and muskie when I'm up in Iowa. Yeah, I like the action of this thing. There's some mud disaster I was standing in when I caught that first bass on the Speed Shad. I mean, I was like sinking trying to get him in. Oh, was that a pop? Yeah, this little Salmo is pretty cool. I may have to get a few more of these for Iowa. Do you guys ever use those wish lists on the websites, like Tackle Warehouse or whatever? I don't know if maybe Amazon has one. I always do the save for later on Amazon. I've got so many bookmarks from Tackle Warehouse on lures that I want to get and lures that I've gotten. Like I've got the Shimano, what is it, World, or ooh, I thought I had a bite there. Shimano World Minnow, I've got that bookmark, but I also have a, what is it, Duo Realis or Demiki. Somebody's came out with that size 95. See, that's why I bookmark it, because I can't remember what it is. Yeah, it's a cool little lure right here. Alright guys, check this out. This is from Lucky Strike, Fish Lucky, the Toby Keith. Kind of a sad situation there, but that tackle crew, well, this is Jimmy Houston's, kind of from his old Redman design from those spinners. I love this because look at it. You've got the clothespin style, and then see the blade doesn't go past the hook, so it's right there at a good spot. And I've got a Berkeley Power Stingers or trailer. The only thing is, normally I'll trim the head of the Power Stingers off, and I didn't do it this time, so I could have a little bit more length. And then sometimes I'll trim the skirt, sometimes I don't. It just depends. Most of the time I do. All right, let's get back over here. This disaster of a mud pit. So sometimes I'll burn it, sometimes I don't. Sometimes I do the Cadillac crank, but then I'll kill it. If I want it near the surface, I'll crank it harder, because I'll get some lift from that little Power Stinger, the tail on that. But generally I do the Cadillac crank. Part of it is because I enjoy it, you know, it's the fun part of fishing. Look at that blade. I love the blades he's got on these things. To me, these are the best spinner baits on the market. Booyah are my next favorite ones. But look at that. Cast like a dream. Correction, my favorite spinnerbait is the Bomber drum beater and some of the bushwhackers. Then I guess this is tied with those. So smooth. I'm gonna run this up that seam over there. See, I got the skirt trimmed perfectly because you got the tail coming off from the Power Stinger. Man, that looks good. See, I need to trim the head just a little bit. But it works well. So I'm throwing this one on the St. Croix Avid. I've got 12 and 12 Sunlight braid de fluoro. Maybe get a nice big white bass to hammer this too. Drum love to hit this thing. I've got catfish on it, bass, pike. The only beef I got is, see right there on the nose, it gets chipped up a little bit, but so what I do to fix that is I get some nail polish or some lure paint, and then I coat that sucker with some nail polish hardener or some little bit of gel coat or a sealer. But really it doesn't affect it. That's just more for the person who gets OCD about their lures chipping. I usually don't, but all right, so we're gonna work this. I can bomb this out deep, I can run it parallel. This is fair game in all areas. Like I was saying, I had some big drum just annihilate spinner baits before. Gar, Gar don't like a spinnerbait whatsoever. They come, that thing comes click, 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 or shoosh, shoosh, shoosh by them. They'll just snap at it just to snap at it. Man, that looks good. Fish lucky, lucky strike, go get them. Yeah, I tell this story all the time, but the first lure I ever learned to use was a spinnerbait. Then I think like a little head and torpedo, and I didn't even know that it was a topwater. And I kept wondering how come it wouldn't get down there. Ooh, that breeze. You know, I love throwing the jackhammers, the bladed jigs. Man, I gotta tell you, I just prefer the spinnerbait. And the inline spinners, I even prefer those over the jackhammer or the bladed jigs. I've literally thrown those MEPS inline spinners, and I always go with MEPS, nothing else. They've done it for so long and so good. I've thrown those and spinner baits into the craziest spots that I know I couldn't get a jackhammer in, except for the cross-eye jackhammer. A lot of people don't like that one, but man, that thing, I can get it in there pretty good. It's got the little weed guards on it, and you can find those dirt cheap on eBay. All right, I'm working my little seam here. The other day I caught a really nice big white bass on an old Rebel crankbait. And man, they're notorious for hitting flash. So I'm hoping I can get one to hit this. Man, this looks good. I got a good color on here. Chartreuse and blue. All right, guys, let me know, which do you prefer? Bladed jig, a chatterbait, or a spinnerbait? Check it out, guys. Such a beautiful stretch here. It went all the way down, fished along the rocks here. It gets real shallow along that point. So I'm working my way back now. Man, I love throwing this thing. Ooh, you can feel that wind. Boy, it's got a bite to it, doesn't it? Oh, you can't feel it. We're supposed to get gusts up to, whew, you feel that? 40 miles an hour, 30 and 40 miles an hour. Man, but that's good for throwing a spinnerbait. You get that chop coming in, look at that. Wind blown section here of this bank. Ooh. I thought I had something hit it, but nope. All right. Cast, guys, and I gotta head out. Man, this is just, see, for me, this is just life right here. Cold air doesn't bother me. I'm testing and tinkering with lures. I just have so much fun doing it. I owe it all out to my dad, my siblings, because we used to fish all the time in Iowa. Granddad, it was just so much fun. And my cousin, I can't forget my cousins. I had a lot of great fishing adventures with my cousins too. Ooh, did you see that? Man, that's why I like the spinnerbait. He got hung on the very end of the log there, but I just gave it a quick pop and he came through. All right, guys. Hey, thanks for hanging out with me today. Oh, not so fast, not so fast. We got some action right along the seam. And I'm sinking. Oh, it's because I'm in the water. I like wandered into the water here and I was wondering how come I'm sinking. There we go. I have my little triangulation formula to remember where my little seam is. Alright guys, that's going to wrap it up for me for today. Until next time, I will see you then. Bye-bye. Now get out there and get your lures wet.